Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to start by introducing my group members. Our group name is RATNA and consists of 3 members. Asha Rosli 1190171, Nazira Sharani 1190178 and Nur Huda Zainuddin 1190187. Oh yeah, we are from KBA1. At first, I will share the reasons of choosing articles for our review task. Then Nazira will explain our points as progresses of article 1 and so do Huda for the second article, insyaAllah. So that we agreed to choose an article by Shahira Abdul Shukur titled Protecting Children's Rights in the Internet Challenges a Preliminary Study Based on the Malaysian's Experience. As in this age towards modernity, mostly parents often share stories about their children to the public on social media and their privacy information are not excluded. This will directly threaten the child's safety. Besides, young people are too obsessed with the use of the internet such as TikTok, Instagram, Twitter and etc. Some of them make inappropriate contents to publish to others. Moreover, pornography websites are becoming more prevalent online and easily accessible. Thus, many problems will arise if there is zero supervision from parents and no government action. This is a very concerning situation. This matter closely related to Chapter 1 and 3, Communication and Media Law in Malaysia, Defamation Law on the Internet. In addition, this issue is mentioned in the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, a Malaysian law which enacted to provide for and to regulate the converging communications and multimedia industries and for incidental matters.
The first point is media, children and internet reporting. The government has supported the operation of cybercafe as the way to increase internet awareness. 1.5 million pornographic websites are freely accessed by internet users, implying that teen internet use has great prospect of cyberbullying. Some commentators note that information on the internet is inappropriate for access by children and teenagers. Point 2 is regulating the internet for the sake of children. Malaysian government has reaffirmed the non-censorship policy enshrined in the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. The principle is divided into two. First, licensing and second, content requirement. Those who provide indecent content on the internet must prove their intent to annoy, abuse, threaten or harass before is it considered an offence. Children rights in Malaysia. 4 key principles: first, survival; second, development; third, protection; and the last one is participation of children. The rights of children are influenced by their developing capacity, parental responsibilities, right and obligation, and the last one is national law. First, freedom of expression; second, freedom of thought, conscience and religion, and the last one, freedom of association. In addition, the challenge a preliminary study based on the Malaysian experience. The flow of information and communication of the internet will be not subject to any censorship. Malaysian children and their activities using the internet, as there is a lack of empirical research on the use of internet by Malaysian children and their activity using the internet, as there is a lack of empirical research on the use of the internet by Malaysian children. That's all from me.
Next, an article titled E-Commerce from an Islamic Perspective by Nur Azlina Zainul, Fauzia Uthman and Siti Hartini Mazlan. This one was chosen because during Malaysia's first Movement Control Order MCO between March and June 2020, about 6,187 complaints on online scamming reported according to statistics by the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry. As the star stated, not only online transactions but also other fraud cases reported were for profiteering, misleading consumers relating to products, false representation and etc. This article is an excellent pick because it allows us to learn and practice Islamic business principles. This issue closely connected to chapter cyber law in Malaysia and laws relating to advertisement. Plus, this matter is referred to the Electronic Commerce Act 2006, Act 658. An act to provide for legal recognition of electronic messages in commercial transaction, the use of the electronic messages to fulfill legal requirements and to enable and facilitate commercial transaction through the use of electronic means and other matters connected therewith.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Nurhuda Zainuddin, metric number 11900187, and I will explain about the second article. According to Islamic perspective, e-commerce has the same meaning with the conventional commerce, but some rules and obligations must be aligned with the need of Islamic principles. Based on Surah Al-Jumu'ah verse 11, people can pursue whatever activities they may like if it is aligned with Islamic principles. Islam do not separate the spiritual and material in way of life. As stated in Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 275, Allah has permitted trading and forbidden usury riba. This verse clearly shown that any kind of business is allowed in Islam if it is a fair trade and honest business. Muslims are also prohibited from usury, the practice of charging an illegal rate of interest for the loan of money. E-commerce in Islamic perspective. Islamic teachings had been aware of the issues and introduced Islamic business transactions or fiqh al-muamalat. Islam is not against e-commerce. Instead, Islam basically encourages e-commerce as one of the new ways of conducting business. The legality of e-commerce. Muslims are encouraged to engage in honest trade, and Islam has certain conditions that must be followed to ensure the legality of e-commerce in Islam. First, there should be clarity in the communication and the products offered must be clearly defined. Second, both contracting parties must receive the message to achieve conformity in the agreement and concluding the contract. Third, there must be continuity in the communication. Then, Islamic business ethics in e-commerce are truthfulness, sincerity, and honesty. Next, pillars of legitimacy of e-commerce contract, which are first, offer and acceptance, ijab and qabul. 2, contracting parties. 3, subject matter. And 4, the mode of expression, sirah. Besides that, the validity of e-commerce from Islamic perspective. First, initiating a contract, ta'aqud. Second, conformity, the validity, sihah. Third, implementation, nafas. Fourth, binding, ilzam. And lastly, delivery, state of exchange. The next point is payment for e-commerce transaction. Credit card could be halal if the customer paid the whole bill before the due date. Muslims can use murabahah system as an alternative to credit card. They can also use other method of payment such as letter of credit bank draft to replace the using of credit card. Then, characteristics of producers. Producers should improve the inventory and the types of products and strive to find ways to improve services and profit margin. Moreover, they should be truthful and honest and also open to critics. Next, rights of producers. Producers should practice the concept of justice and clearly define the condition of products during virtual transactions. Lastly, rights of consumers. Consumers should have the right of privacy, data protection, and the rights to know the details of the products. At the same time, I have difficulties in understanding the article as it contains muamalat related terms which I do not familiar with. It is quite confusing at the first moment, but then I managed to understand after making some research. That's all from me. Thank you.